You did the key code again?
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, I think whenever y'all are ready, like just yeah, just take it away, guys. Good luck. It's gonna be awesome.
All right, check, check.
Check, check.
All
Check.
right. How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the talk today, Cultivating Trust and Value in the Metaverse. I have three wonderful speakers on stage with me today. My name is Alec, and I am the skull right here. And I'm going to let everybody kind of lead off with some intros right now, and we'll start over here with Gabrielle, the frogman.
Yeah, I'm having some audio issue here.
All right, Gabrielle.
Hey, can you hear me? Yeah, I have to keep my Zoom open so I can hear you better. But yeah, if you can keep your mic open there, I can hear you.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, thank you everybody for coming. We're having a little bit of mic issues, but welcome you for coming to the Cultivating Trust and Value in the Metaverse panel. I have three speakers today on stage. My name is Alec Urtusuastegui, and I'm gonna let Gabrielle start off today by giving us a little intro to himself and where he is coming from.
Okay, nice to meet you, everyone. I'm Gabriele Sibelli. I'm an Italian guy. I come from Milan, and what do? I am the CEO of Brandverse. A new NFT project is gonna get launched in the coming month. I have experience into e-commerce, marketing, and branding, and let's say that I took like my years of experience, and I decided to move in Web3 and join this amazing space.
Awesome, thank you for that intro, Gabrielle. We have two very, very interesting more people on here too. We'll start with Joey. Joey, can you give us a quick intro on who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. GM friends, first of all, so I'm Joey. I'm the CTO for Non-Fungible Labs, the company that created Fluff World, the Party Bears, Thingies, and definitely our awesome Scenes and Sounds collection. I've been around in the Web3 space for about 4 to 5 years right now. Um, I'm basically the full-time nerd of the company. We are building awesome stuff, and yeah, that's basically who I am. I reside in the Netherlands, and I'm 27 years old. And I go by the Discord name of Santi, if I'm more familiar to some people with that name.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you
that was
very
it.
much, Joey. And now we have Esther. We'll let Esther lead with a little intro, and then we'll get on to things real quick.
Yeah, hi, I'm Esther. I'm the founder, CEO of Hundo.careers. We're building the world's first learn to earn platform on chain. It's a campus to upskill Gen Z for future work in Web3 and the metaverse.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for coming today, and thank you all for joining the stage with me today. We are here to talk about cultivating trust and value in the metaverse. And one thing that I want to start off with, as you guys are all builders, is how do we address creating value when you're creating your guys' communities? Who wants to start off with kind of like explaining how they build up their community and how they got their start as they started off this journey?
Yeah, so we started off in the UK, working with 16 to 24-year-olds to identify the kind of gap between the education that they're receiving at the moment and the employment that's available to them. And at the moment, there's a big disconnect between mandatory education and the future of work in Web3 and the skills that are going to be needed. Everything from building servers, community managers, blockchain developers. There's a huge and growing gap between what educators are able to provide for young people. So we've started to build our community in partnership with education, so that young people have got a more coherent route from what they're learning in school and what they're learning in college and university, and they're able to use our platform to augment that learning with skills that they need for getting into work.
Oh, that's very awesome. And when you're building up that community and you're creating that trust for these very early members of this education process, where are you kind of seeing that trust beginning in this process when you're building out this?
So young people aren't stupid. They know when they're just being sold at. So the way that we build is with them, rather than building a product or building a service and then kind of going, here you go, this is for you, sign up. They're very much part of our build. So as a company, 50% of our people are Gen Z. That's a commitment that we made because they help to shape the business. And what we see is organically, it's kind of, we kind of treat it like brands and fans. It's kind of Hundo itself is a trusted brand because of the young people that we have involved from the very beginning of what we built. So I think for me, building community is about building it with them in the first instance. We worked with about 200 young people from a couple of gaming colleges when we started to think about what campus, what its functionality needed to be and what it needed to provide and offer. And it's really fascinating because if you actually go to your audience, go to your community and ask them while you're, very much in the kind of research phase, you will often find things that you never even thought of, and blind spots. Particularly for us, we work with young people who are facing significant disadvantage. They tend to come from diverse backgrounds. So for them, it's really important that they have a space and a place that they can operate where they feel safe and valued. And that's, the way that we have done that and the way we continue to do that is in partnership with them.
That's super awesome. It kind of like it unpacks the traditional organizations where it's a top-down build out, right? You guys are starting with these 200 Gen Z community members and building from the bottom up. Before we got on this conversation, I was talking to Gabrielle about how they kind of are building out the community at Brandverse, and I was wondering if you kind of want to unpack how you are working on that and how you guys have been building from the bottom up and building that trust within your community.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, also we adopted a bottom to top approach, let's say, and we wanted to do this because we understood immediately that Web3 requires something like this. So the difference between any company that wanted to launch a brand, in our case, we are launching wearable brands, but can be whatever. Before, the approach was top to bottom, so using influencer marketing and paid traffic to get people buying your service or your products. In Web3, where the main values are collaboration and openness, the approach should be basically opposite. That's what we believe in. So how we built our community started with interviews in September and October with a lot of people that were experts in the field, big collectors of big collection like Flufford, like BAC, like Cool Cats or whatever. We jumped on a lot of call with them, and basically we shaped our project from day one with them. We started with an idea and we shaped it with the help of all these people. We had more than 300 interviews, and then we created the first closed Discord with these 100 people inside, and we grew our community from there. We will put the community in the center of the whole process from now on. Our brands, let's say, that are brands for the communities, for the NFT communities, from an NFT community. And that means that we want to involve everyone in every step of the project. And that's why we started from day one with this approach. And it's paying off because the power of 100 people that have experience in a lot of different fields, it's incredible. They are coming like every day we have new ideas floating from the community and new concepts and even things that we didn't thought about that they are bringing a lot of value. So I believe that is perfect in this field to start with a bottom to top approach.
Well, 100 interviews. That sounds like a lot of interviews over the last couple of months. Um,
Yeah.
when you're talking to these individuals, what kind of conversations are you having in these interviews, and what kind of people are you meeting when you're talking to them?
Yeah, so basically how we started this, me and Kareem, let's say we are 4 founders in the company. Me and Kareem were like a lot into Flufford. We knew the community, we knew a lot of people inside it, and we knew people from other, let's say, blue chip projects that are like long-term projects with big teams behind, obviously fully doxed with a long-term view. And we decided to go to the people that were inside this collection and talk with them. Basically, we just scheduled a call with everyone, and then we found out which kind of people are inside these communities. So let's say that talking with very big NFT owners, we are talking with people that have years of experience in a lot of different fields. We spoke with guys that have 25 years of experience in e-commerce or owners of big advertising agency, any kind of entrepreneurs, investors, lawyers. We found out a lot of people and consider that we are building, thanks to this, we are building our project with them. All our moderators come from our community. We found new team members inside the community. Like it's crazy the value that you can find inside the right communities when you speak with them.
Right, that's awesome. Like getting in there and diving in deep into all these different communities, Fluff World, Party Bears,
Of course.
and just kind of like building out these communities from the ground up is awesome and fun. Joey, coming from the Fluff World side and the Party Bear side, what kind of bottom up approach have you all taken building out these communities?
Honestly, first of all, our community was always about growing it organically and maintaining full transparency at all times. We were always the type of guys that we promised something, but at the same time, we were over delivering. Always, always, always. And that way, we really built up this trust relationship with our community that now allows us to have one of the most beautiful events in the world. And everyone is so happy. And it's really all about growing the community organically, because today we're here and we have a very, very large goal we're working towards to. And we can only get there with our own community. So if there's no trust between community and company, then it's, almost impossible to build up something proper. Um, yeah, that's something that I've seen lacking across the space a lot. Like people are not doxxed now in 2022. I don't see a reason for a proper and honest project to not be doxxed. People pay shillers to get tons of people into their communities. And here at Fluff World, it's all been about the organic growth. The majority of our community has been with us since day one, and that is so awesome. And hereby, I also want to give a big shout out to our community, because we would really be nowhere without you guys.
Yeah, community means everything, right? And so as you guys are building out those different communities, right, and creating that trust, right, as we're building out that trust, we're able to harness the creativity of our community, right? There's a bunch of different creative people that come from a bunch of different worlds, right? The film world, the music world, the 3D world. What is the way that Fluff World and everybody has been creating that trust to create the community that to bring out that creativity from the community?
Honestly, I think people really got excited when we started doing things that weren't really done before. So prior to Fluff World, the majority of all the NFT projects out there were mostly like 2D. When Fluff World came out, it was this 3D animated, beautiful bunny that a lot of people had not seen before. But not just a bunny with an ID and a plan. And here we are. Now we have the burrows. Everyone is so excited. It's just that our ID and goals are literally talking to people. People understand what we're doing. And we're getting so many beautiful inputs from the community. People give us suggestions, feedbacks, whether it's about 3D models or a mint. We always maintain this great relationship with our community, and therefore I think we can really be trusted because we've never given a reason to not to really. We're always delivering, always maintaining full transparency, and that's really what it is all about, especially in Web3, where there's so many shady stuff going on, a lot of rug pulls, projects just vanishing out of the blue. But nah, I can ensure our community we are here to stay, and the party just started. Really, we've been working on this for many months now, and it just still feels so early. We're just at the very, very, very beginning.
Yeah, no, I think yeah, gaining trust through your community just kind of by hitting your goals, right? Bringing out these 3D rigged fluffs that haven't been seen before is definitely building trust within the community. Esther, over on the education side, do you see that when you keep kind of like educating your community members that the trust kind of builds out a little bit more and the creativity comes out a little bit more? Or what are you seeing as you kind of like build trust within your community from the ground up?
Yeah, I think for us, it's very much looking at what's gone badly wrong in Web 2 and how you can start to mitigate some of that in Web 3. And I think for us, it's very much about we're bringing young people to a space that isn't familiar to them. So educating them to have kind of, meta street smarts is quite important. They're explorers in a new world. So we want them to kind of be amazed, excited, involved, but sort of also ready for a tiger to jump out. That's quite important. I think also helping them to understand what's expected in the world, what the opportunities are, but also the security risks. And there's if we give if you give someone total freedom, it's about understanding the responsibility that comes with that, and it's very different to how traditional modalities of education work, which is very directive rather than self-empowering. So we want to ensure that not just the young people that we're working with, but also parents, do they know how to teach their children how Web3 and the metaverse works? The answer at the moment is very much not. They're kind of quite scared of it. So there's a whole kind of education piece that sits not just with our primary community, but also with all of the stakeholders that surround them as well.
Very cool. Yeah, I feel like a lot of time I'm being educated by my younger nephews and nieces that come home with things, and then I dive in deeper and kind of find out more. And by giving everybody the tools to be educated, it kind of just empowers them to grow and trust. So, Gabrielle, I was wondering if you have anything to add on kind of building out that creativity within your community and kind of from the bottom up and building out the different wearables.
Yeah, for sure. Like going back to what I was saying before, and it's very related with what everyone just said here. We believe that the creative power of 100 people is way stronger than the creative power that we can have internally in our team. We can have a very skilled team, but there is a big community that now is around 1,000 people, and inside this community there is a lot of creative people, and we want to involve them in the whole process. So that's why in our project in Brandverse, we are not gonna create wearable brands by ourselves, but we are gonna make it with the community. Very shortly, how we are gonna do that is to make them vote about all the tangible elements of the brands. That means they can vote on the logo, on the brand colors, on the tone of voice, on all the, let's say, all the branding development on the next stage in order to achieve the best results, because all together we can bring the best results. So we want really to involve the community and the creative thinking that we have seen from day one in the whole branding process.
So you touch on a very good point there too, because your team started as 100, right, as community members, and it's growing over to 1,000. So
Yeah.
as you're building out a team like that, what's it like, and how important is it for the communication and what's it like to build out the communication between those and the trust between the teams and the community members?
Yeah, that's a very important point. Before being a builder, I was an FT collector like many people, and I felt that a lot of projects were talking about roadmaps and about this kind of stuff and about involving the community, but then you never had the chance to speak with the team. And again, I'm really lucky that I was into Flufford and into Party Bear, and I've seen a different way to do it. Big projects in which the whole team is there, speak with you, take time even to have calls with you, or just like is always on Discord. And I think that makes a very big difference. Involve the community means that they are part of the project, and it means to be there. That's why we like to spend time on Discord. We like to have MA on Twitter and to involve everyone in every step. I believe it's the key to success for an FT project, to involve the community for real and make them feel part of the project because they are the project actually.
Yeah, I really
Um,
agree with that.
Yeah, thank you, Joey. And one thing that you mentioned, Gabrielle, when we were in the back room, kind of like adding those checkpoints, right? So I think you mentioned a POAP kind of checkpoint
Yeah,
project, so you can see kind of like who's contributing and how has that kind of like built out the community a little bit also, and the trust within the community members and like the core members.
yeah, of course. So when we started and we had this OG 100, we were thinking about, okay, are we gonna grow our community? Are we gonna be out there without using all these techniques that a lot of projects use, all this shilling or using influencers or retweet and like and stuff like that? What can we do differently? So we decided that in order to have a community that is genuinely interested in the project, we need a community of people that understand and participate in what we do. And that means that they take time to follow the project and take part in it for real, not just on Discord, sending 2 million messages to reach like a specific level, but more like being part of it in the free time they have when they can. And that means that we wanted to reward participation. And that means that we wanted basically to tokenize the time that you spend following our project. So how we did it, it's with POAP, Proof of Attendance Protocol. They are like badges, or how they call it, the Web3 bookmarks of your life. And basically what we did is during MA session and during spaces, we gave away this POAP to the people that were attending for real, and people could collect POAPs in the last 2 months. And next week, we are going to release a Brandverse Ambassador token, 111 tokens. There will be NFT, normal NFT on Ethereum. You can sell them on the secondary market if you want. And basically, we are giving this token for free to the people that collected an X amount of POAP. That means that the community is growing with the project, and the people that really participated and understand genuinely what we are doing are the ones that we are going to be rewarded with this token. This token will give them the possibility to vote on the branding elements that I told you before, and will give them access to every wearable that we are going to drop from now on. We are doing this because we want really to reward these people that believed in us from November, from the beginning, before everyone else.
Yeah, and I really do feel like kind of adding those social checkpoints and those social badges from the beginning, it kind of creates that communication between the team and the community, and it kind of shows who is more committed than others a little bit. So it kind of creates your ambassadors within the community who you reward and give different pieces to. And by giving those different items out, you're creating that trust within the community. It's like a push and pull works very well. Joey, I know that Fluff World does a lot of fun activations and things like that, and I was wondering what you guys have in mind to kind of create that communication between community and core builders.
Yeah, so first of all, we've been giving back a lot to our community. We've always been doing airdrops to specific fluff traits or specific party beer traits. That's one way for us to actually reward our own community and show them how grateful we are for them. So there's just one very big topic that is um, a big discussion point always in any community. It's very hard to distinct the people that are genuinely there for you and for what you are building and for what you believe in, and then you have the other people that are only there to make money. I- uh, w- at Fluff World, we have so many people that truly, truly, truly believe in an open metaverse. If anyone that is watching the live stream right now, if you haven't checked out the burrows, um, we went live with the burrows 2 days ago. So that's our first step towards an open metaverse. If you haven't checked that out, please check that out at burrows.fluff.world. Um, yeah, so with the community, it's really finding the pearls. I was actually a community member before I joined Non-Fungible Labs. I just chimed in and I just really, really, really felt at home. Um, it didn't feel like I was just some random Discord number that popped up with a hashtag. No, I was actually being treated as a family. And we all continue on to do so. For example, my DMs are always open. You can ask me any type of question, even if it's not fluff or party bear or whatever related. We're here to build out a family. We're here to love each other, and that's what we continue on doing. And our goal really is to maintain that love in our community and maintain the trust.
Yeah, and you coming at from as a community member, kind of moving up, you completely understand what it's like to have communication between the full community and everybody on the outside.
Oh, it's all about the proper communication, right? There are so many crypto communities, whether it's NFT or DeFi or whatever. You join either a Telegram group, you join a Discord. Um, they just don't respond to you. You just try to say hi, you just try to act like a normal human being, and no one no one even talks to them. There's usually people hanging around that are like, oh, this is so great, but that's it. It doesn't give you a feeling, hey, I'm actually really part of this, or hey, this owner actually came and said hi to us. But over at Fluff World, with all our AMAs, Q&As, podcasts, we try to minimize the distance between the team and the community, and we are always ready to answer any questions or concerns or whatever the community has at any time. Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, open communication is key and keeps community growth. It keeps the trust going, and setting up those different checkpoints and these different activations kind of build more trust within the community.
Yeah.
Esther, I was just wondering if you kind of want to bring up how you guys keep the communication open between the different students that you guys have, and what that trust is like and how you build that up.
Yeah, so we're experimenting at the moment with a range of different. We partner with Imagine Insights, who have about 21,000 Gen Z community worldwide, who are paid for sort of their feedback, their insights. Quite some interesting stuff that comes out of it. Some of the recent stats around like digital fashion. 93% of their community still prefer in real life. So there's a fair amount of kind of work to do in terms of bringing an in real life community into this space more effectively. So that's kind of one of the things that we do in terms of feedback. We also work on obviously Discord, the kind of the usual channels that you would expect. But again, it's interesting because much of our community aren't from a gaming background. So things like Discord servers aren't their primary space. So actually, the kind of the best place for us at the moment is TikTok. We work with Crystal Lake, who's one of the employment influencers on there. She has a following of about 400,000 young people. So for us, it very much depends on the message that we're trying to get across. Who the target audience is, and so our communities will largely be segmented according to, rather than sort of expecting them to come to us. It's very much about how we get out to them.
And you also bring up how you kind of are going into some partnerships. So working with, I forget the name of the group that you just mentioned, but how important do you think that these partnerships are going to be kind of growing into the metaverse space to build trust within these communities?
I think it's absolutely essential. Otherwise, it really, without collaboration, without partnerships, without, open source, we run the risk of just being another sort of centralized iteration of what's already out there. So for me, we're not so arrogant as to think that we have all of the answers. For us, it's kind of going, our domain expertise lies in how do you transition young people effectively from education into employment. But our partnerships are where we'll be able to kind of really get the widest reach with the most young people. So, at the moment, in our partner network, we have about 410,000 young people. And for me, that's only possible with partnerships. So that for us, they are absolutely critical.
Yeah, I feel like our space, right, it's decentralized, right? So I feel establishing these partnerships early on is gonna be only thing good. It's only gonna be better for us, right? Creating these trusted relationships with people that are kind of trying to move in the same direction as us is gonna help the space move forward a lot quicker. And creating that education layer like you're doing, Esther, is only gonna make things better because we're gonna catch them at an early level, and we're gonna learn as we're going through it, right? Going through these different case studies, as we develop
Yeah,
these
yeah,
MVPs.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that we've been piloting really successfully is the use of cross-platform avatars, which is probably very amusing for those who are looking at my current avatar, whose head matches the wall at the back. But in terms of doing things like removing and reducing hiring bias, young people being able to show up and sort of, in however they want to, what they want their sort of online version of themselves to be. That's a space that's really been, we won an Innovate UK grant to pilot some of that, and it was, worked really successfully. So it's certainly something that we want to continue to progress with our partners like Ready Player Me and others.
Ooh, super exciting stuff. I'm interested to hear what kind of partnerships and what it's like going through partnerships on the Gabrielle side, because with these wearables and different spaces that you can actually buy these wearables that are physical items, just want to hear what kind of partnerships and what it's like developing the trust with those types of relationships right now.
Yeah, yeah. So first of all, I totally agree with what Esther said before. I mean, in a logic of an open and collaborative metaverses, like partnership are fundamental. If good projects partner up with each other, the value is all for the holders, basically. It's the holder that can use the same avatar in different metaverses or can wear, in our case, a wearable on different avatars in different metaverses. On our side, we see the potential because we believe that as we are building wearables, it would be very useful and very valuable for our owners to have one asset, in this case, one wearable, and be able to wear it in different avatars, but also in different metaverses and having different utilities for that wearable. So there are a lot of people that are building a lot of different worlds in the metaverse, and we believe that those people have a lot of creative power. If we give them the possibility to have our assets inside their metaverses, they can create utility for it, and that's gonna make a value for the owner, in this case, the avatar owners that is in the metaverse and is wearing a wearable. So yeah, as you said, we are building partnership with projects that are able already to have avatars that are 3D rigged, that can be used in a real or that can be used in a real, so on which we can put our watches. And from day one, we started our project thinking that in order to give value to our NFT owners, we need our community. We need to have a wearable that you can wear for real, so that is Unreal Engine ready in our case, and that's what we are doing, and we are building partnership with other projects that can help us achieving our vision.
So when you're building out these partnerships, how detrimental or how, like, do you need to have a proof of concept kind of already built out to approach these partnerships, or are you just kind of going with a concept when starting these partnerships?
No, no, no. Of course, the first thing that our 3D designers prepared was the possibility to extract our assets and use them in Unreal. So basically, when we discuss now a partnership with any project, we are able to provide our assets already ready for Unreal Engine and put them on their avatars in a real Unreal Engine setup, let's say. So basically, when we discuss a partnership, we are ready to implement our wearables on their avatars or inside that specific metaverse from day one. That's how we work. I mean, we strongly believe that creating, like, let's say, fake hype on something that you are not ready to, it's really bad in terms of trust, and that your community will find out immediately. We are a long-term project, so when we say something, is because, let's say, we have it ready and we already tested it.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like that's the way to go into this space right now too. And with all this innovation happening and all these cool new things happening, it's a very exciting space. And um, I feel like building from the bottom up, like we've been talking about, and building these trusted communities, there's multiple layers of trust, right? Like there's the friendship layer of trust, who you're talking to on Discord. There's that monetary trust, there's that reward trust, there's all those different layers of trust. Um, One thing that I was wondering is, like, as you're building out these partnerships, everyone, are you seeing that a lot of these partnerships are being built out from the community that's already being built? So you're not really kind of going out to outside people that you don't trust already, or are you seeing that the kind of like the stuff starting from the inside?
From my experience, if I can answer your question, we have, like, basically our community coming to us, telling us to partner up with specific avatar collections, as well as community of avatar collection telling them, tell to the builders to come to discuss with us a potential partnership. So I think that is the community again that has to shape this partnership, and the builders are the ones that have to listen to the community and follow the, like, and take their insights and then make it real.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, Joey, I know that I've been seeing a lot of things happening with non-fungible labs and with this whole fluff world thing happening right now. I saw that there's a big thing happening with a lot of music partnerships. How does that build out, and what's that build out, and having this like Web 2 traditional trad trust the vision of what non-fungible has going on right now?
Yeah, so first of all, we are finally being able to give the music industry the platform that they truly deserve. Um, as you guys might know, a lot of the streaming platforms only pay a few cents per this million streams, which is ridiculous. All the music artists have been working so and so and so hard, and we are finally being able to give them the platform that they deserve, meaning um, by distributing their music or even their scenes, because it's not only music, right? We also have our super huge scenes collection. People can finally like express their full creativity and get properly rewarded for it. And for us, that really results into beautiful interactive NFTs. But in terms of partnerships, really, the most hard thing is because we also get a lot of, people reaching out in Discord saying, hey, you should check this out, or you should check that out. Usually, 9 out of 10 times, it's just a little bit, people just shilling other projects. Um, but finding the gems that are actually inventing something is really, really, really tough. There's so many projects out there that are almost like a copy paste from one another rather than them building out something from scratch, and being a real inventor. So those are really the type of projects that we look partnering up with. We don't want any copy paste sort of projects. We just want, people inventing new things. Let that be a 3D studio, a music artist, a Web3 project. That doesn't really matter as long as you're doing something real and from scratch. That's when we really like to partner up with you.
Yeah, to mention that copy paste, that's kind of like where that whole trust level comes through. And kind of building out the community from the
Yeah.
bottom up is definitely gonna kind of weed that out. And to build off of what Gabrielle was saying earlier, kind of the proof of participation, the POAPs for the people that keep showing up. You can kind of
Yeah.
use that as the people that are showing up to the community and keep showing up, and weeding out those people that are just there for like the cash grab, right? Um,
Yeah,
I've
so
been
there's
seeing
so many. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're all good. Sorry about that. Keep going.
No, but the amount of projects that were arising during the NFT boom that were literally copy paste contracts is just insane. And even for I really feel bad sometimes for like the crypto space and the crypto community in general. Um, because not everyone is able to see and realize that that is actually a copy paste project. There are projects out there that literally got their art from Fiverr and just selling it as some top-notch collection. They make the money and they just um, vanish. So in this space, especially in the Web3 space, because obviously I'm very, very technical. It's all about the inventions. Today we are here. We see the metaverse as it is right now, but we're nowhere there yet where we really, really, really want to be. If anyone has the time, you should definitely watch the talk from our CEO, Alex Smeel, about the Metaverse Manifesto. So what we're really have to try all along is build out the real framework, the real base for the metaverse. Um, let that be APIs, let that be 3D models that you can port from Blender into either Unity or Unreal Engine. There's still so much things that need to get shape. Yeah.
Yeah, and as we shape these different pieces out, coming from the community is gonna have a big effect on how we build out all these things. Over at Friend's House, kind of a community that I'm working on right now, we're focusing a lot on education, right? And kind of bridging that Web 2 to Web 3, and kind of like trying to like educate everybody that we already kind of live in a metaverse world. We already have multiple screens around us. We don't realize that most of us have our phone as a screen, we have our computer, we have our watch, and then the TV. So there's 4 screens around you. You just don't realize it. Here we are talking on Oculus and in VR. This is so awesome. I met you all probably a couple hours ago on a Zoom call, and now here we are talking and waving and giving each other hugs as we set this up. And
Yeah.
that trust barrier is just super awesome. And what do you all feel about like using the current Web 2 to build out this metaverse trust? Is that something that we should be using, or is it something that we should just completely go native Web 3? What are your all thoughts on that?
Should I go first?
Yeah.
So the main goal really is to keep it as decentralized as possible without people having the feeling that it's some new way or method. And what I really mean by that is everyone is using his mobile phone nowadays. Everyone is using an email client to send out emails. But what percentage of all those people actually understand how the email system works? Yet they trust Microsoft, for example, in this case, but in our case, that's going to be the blockchain, that everything is going smooth and fine. Um, so my main goal really is to build out this metaverse where people don't feel that they're in some weird cryptographic space. It has to feel natural. You don't want, for example, if you're sending out an email, right? You don't want to go through what an SMTP server is or whatever. You just want to send out your email. And right now, in the crypto space, the NFT space, the metaverse space, it's all still so super, super, super technical. And to drive for real adoption, we really need to make great steps forward and try to break that barrier where it really gets too complicated for people. And we can continue on educating people on and on and on. But the real goal is to have to make a seamless experience out of it. Like we should try to make it straightforward, if that makes sense. Yeah, and we're sadly enough nowhere there yet. If you compare the crypto space from 4 or 5 years ago to the crypto space now, even wallets have evolved. Back in the days, people would literally write down a seed phrase, or not a seed phrase, a private key, like on a piece of paper, go to my Ether wallet, type that in. That was really how a lot of people were doing it. And now, you have MetaMask, you have this, you have that. Everything is just evolving so quickly. But just to get back to my point, it's all about the adoption and the seamless experience, and that's really what the goal is.
Yeah, and I think on that point, the kind of the UX UI for those of us who don't come from a technical background, it is challenging, and I think that's for us, with what we do, that will be campus's biggest challenge, because to achieve the level of mainstream adoption that we want for this space, it has to be as easy as someone using their mobile banking app. It has to work on technology that isn't cutting edge and out of range in terms of affordability for many people. And I think there is a lot of fear around the space. And I think if it wants to, if we want to truly have this kind of community-led, driven grassroots movement and sort of revolution, there's got to be some guardrails where people feel that there are some levels of protection. And it's interesting because they currently trust the big players in the Web2 space without really thinking about, how their data is being monetized, used, sold, traded. But they kind of use those platforms because the user experience works, it does what they need it to do. And for me, that's very much, from our side, it's kind of going, we will, as I said earlier, we use Web2 platforms, social platforms, to reach an audience that already exists. But what we can do when we're on those platforms is start to use those as a place to provide that initial education. And as you said earlier, it is all very early, this stuff, but I think the sooner that we can get to a place where people feel safer, that they're not just going to lose all their money, they're not going to get rugged, they're not going to get scammed. I think that is really, really vital for this space to fulfill its full potential.
So we touched on using kind of like the best of Web 2 to kind of educate everybody and kind of bring everybody the trust to bridge them over to Web 3. I was just wondering how you guys are kind of using the IRL activations to bring in that trust. Is there any IRL activations? This scene popped up during a pandemic, and things are starting to open up now in the world. Are we kind of creating these IRL activations to develop that trust within these Web3 communities? Or what kind of things these days?
You want me to go?
Yeah, you can go.
So I think, for example, our Fluff Village, the event that is going on now here at South by, is a prime example of bringing something digital into the IRL world. I see so many people meeting each other for the first time that only know each other from Discord. So yeah, there's definitely a bridge between the IRL world and the digital space, really.
Yeah, I'll touch on that a little bit too. Over at Friend's house, we've been kind of doing some Web 2 traditional activations at these Web 3 meetups, right? So over at East Denver, we did a mural with an artist called Persway, and we worked with a community that collects squiggles. And so we went out and put up a mural that was just focused on squiggles, and we brought out a bunch of traditional kind of street artist enthusiasts and educated them on Web3 and kind of had them come to the Art Blocks meetup over in East Denver. And I think that was kind of a cool way of introducing the traditional world to this new Web3 metaverse world, and showing them that it doesn't bridge too far away, right? And that giving them the tools to kind of be their own creative, and just kind of showing them that somebody from their community is doing this just gives them trust also. And it's not like we're going after any influences or anything. We're just working with friends, right? And just helping friends educate each other and grow in a space. And I think that's kind of like the way that the space is going to get even bigger too, right? Building out the APIs, building out the education level, building out the trust. That's going to definitely help out everything. Yeah, I just want to touch on that. Gabrielle, I was wondering if you wanted to touch on anything about working with different manufacturers when you start creating these physical wearables that will also be wearables in the metaverse, and what that partnership and what the trust has been like working with those different people.
Yeah, well, that's a very different scenario, but again, it requires a lot of trust to work with suppliers. And here we are not even talking about Web 2 or Web 3. We are talking about business relations between a factory and a company. In our case, I mean, the trust is built in a very personal relationship, let's say. So, as I told you probably before this talk, I'm in e-commerce 3 4 years, and I helped a lot of entrepreneurs building their business into e-commerce, and basically help them with finding the right products and set up the logistic, and then help them with the go-to-market strategy. What I found out in all these years is that you can have great relationship with everyone worldwide as long as you are really yourself. Me and Kareem create states say always like, you know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. You know what you don't know, and when you don't know something, you have to find an expert in that field that can provide you that skills and that experience, and that's what we are doing. So that's how we build every partnership, not only with our community but with everyone that is cooperating with us externally, from the suppliers to any other person that is participating in the project. Is just like to build a real relationship and cultivating them on long term. And long term is the key. I worked a little bit of time in sales, and I've seen that when you have to sell something on a short term and you don't care about anything else, you will never be able to build long-term relationship. But once the end goal is clear to everyone, in this case for the supplier that can work with us on other collections and can work with us in the future, when the value is perceived, everyone is working in the same direction for the same goal, you can achieve success. That's how I see it.
Yeah, nothing like those real interactions or those real relationships, and um, cultivating those within the metaverse and bringing them into IRL kind of activations like this at South by Southwest and all the different kind of conventions that are going to be happening throughout the year. It's going to kind of build out this space a lot quicker.
Yeah,
We're coming
if
up
I
to
can
the
add
tail.
something on the sorry. I was saying on the education side, to add something briefly, we are seeing that there are a lot of students worldwide that are interested in this field. They want to start collecting NFT, or they want to start experience the metaverse, and they don't know where to start from. And we are seeing that having in real life speech to university is working a lot. We are taking speech in universities everywhere, like US and Europe, and we are having a lot of people joining, and they're very interested. And actually, for us, is the best thing to do, because if you are in this space, you know that the people that teach you about how to get in are the ones that are gonna make your experience positive or negative. Because a lot of people, like we said before, join the space without having the knowledge, and that's the worst experience. Those are the ones that are gonna leave after 3 months. As we are here and we are early, like we say, and we are building, we have to make sure that everyone that join us is gonna have a good experience. So it's gonna tell more people, and more people are gonna join all together.
I agree with that 100%. That's something that we're doing over at Friend's House. We're trying to give that white glove onboarding to Web3 from everybody from a creative to your DGen. So we want to make sure that everybody feels safe when they come to the space. And back in the day, it was just us in our own room by ourselves, either losing money, not figuring out what gas was, not knowing if we can trust anybody on the internet. Yeah, we're here to help over at Friend's House. A lot of us are fully doxxed, kind of creating that trust layer there too. yeah, I think that we're all here to help everybody within this space, and I think creating trust within this space is going to help build us and grow out quicker, and we can do it together. We're coming close to the tail end of this conversation. I don't want to leave anything on the table that anybody wanted to get out. So, is there anything on anyone's mind that they want to mention? Where they can go and find you all? What projects you have coming up in the future? We're all super excited right now.
Yeah, I was going to mention that we're announcing CareerCon, which happens on the 9th, 10th of November, and the theme is discovery. So for us this year, it's about getting young people involved in terms of, what is Web3 and what's the metaverse, what's my place in it. And campus itself is powered by its own token, because we think that the best way to teach young people about crypto literacy is using it in a safe environment. So those are two of our big things coming up this year.
It was super exciting. Can't wait to see that. I'm gonna keep track of that. Gabrielle, do you have anything you'd like to mention to the team, everybody in the audience?
Yeah, I mean, if someone want to follow me on Twitter, just so you know, is Siberia7922, and the project that we spoke about, if someone didn't miss the name, it's Brandverse NFT. We are gonna launch our collection coming soon, let's say. So follow us and you will find out. Thank you.
I also have one final thing to say, really. First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. If you are a Web3 developer, or you work in 3D, or anything that fits within the NFT space, please feel free to head over to nonfungiblelabs.xyz/jobs. We have a bunch of job descriptions on there. You can apply from there if you're willing to join the adventure for the open metaverse. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to everyone also. Thank you for having us today. And if you'd like to speak anything else, you can reach out on Twitter. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.